Hello there. I'm going to show you how to create a new collab out of an old collab from the old Bandhug days. So if you'll bear with me, we'll start this. I'm going to use this one called Thunderstruck, and I'm going to listen to it for a second. So basically, we're going to recreate each track, and let me show you what the needs are. So the requirements to do this, you're going to need the combined MP4, the original collab, the original OGG files that you found in your old Bandhub cache, a video editor. We're going to use Movavi, but you can use whatever you want. And you're going to need Audacity, or if you have something equivalent, you can use that as well. But we will need these things to create this. Now, in your old Bandhub cache, you have a lot of files, so you can't really discern so much what the files are until you play them. Now, one thing you'll find is multi-track OGGs. Now, you can't play multi-track OGGs usually in a player other than Audacity, and it's hard to figure out which one is which. So you have to kind of go through them and figure out which one's which by listening to each and every one of them. So that's kind of a pain. But anyways, I've singled this one out, and this is the one that I'm going to use right now. And I'm going to open it up, and it takes a minute to open because there's quite a few tracks in there. And you'll notice that these aren't stereo tracks. They're all like mono, two mono files all the way through. So we want to combine them to be stereo tracks. What's nice is it automatically recognizes left and right. All you have to do on each one is make a stereo track. Now it's one track. Then you do it again, make the stereo track all the way down. On each one of these tracks, you make it a stereo track, because then it combines them all into one track. And you'll notice they're pretty much the same, very little difference between the two. And that's a stereo track, and this is a stereo track. So anyways, these last two tracks are actually of me singing some BVs in this, but the owner of the collab never did come back to publish or whatever. He was like a long lost user of Bandhub. Anyways, let me get on to this. So after you've done that, you're going to want to name each file. So if we solo this will be the BT, and you play it. So I'm soloing it, and I know it's the BT, so I'm just going to call it name, and we'll call it BT. And you'll need to do this with each track. So this one we're going to solo, and let's see if we can discern what it is. So this sounds like drums. Okay, so we know that's drums, and I'm just going to name it drums. Okay, so I'm going to do this with everyone. You don't have to watch this. I'm going to pause it. Okay, I've named all the tracks. So you can export them after you've named them all into stems or tracks, if you will, individual tracks. Export multiple, and you can choose WAV or Orbis or MP3 files, whatever. I'm going to choose Orbis, and I'm going to choose a folder. I already have it under Bandhug cache, Thunderstruck stems, and I'm going to use the labeling. And of course, this is going to come up a few times. So it's going to come up with these, and I just hit OK. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 different tracks. So now if I have all the stem files, I can pause this while this is doing this. So now I have all my stem files that I want. I've named them. There's a BT, drums, guitar 1, guitar 2, guitar 3, a bass, and 2 BVs. And then I have the files now. So now, let's pause. Okay, so now I have a video editor. I use Movavi, and now I'm going to load up the MP4 file. So I'm going to add a media file, and of course I have my Thunderstruck MP4 file sitting right there. And what I want to do is I want to detach the audio, so leave the audio as is. And now I want to crop and rotate, and I'm going to zoom in on the drummer, which is right here. Bring it over. I'm going to hit apply. So now I have just the drummer, and now I can take this file and delete it, the detached audio, and now I can add an audio and add a media file, same place, drums. So now, and if I play it, let's go. Looks like it's in sync. So now I'm going to save that file. I'm going to save it as a media file, and we're going to call this Thunder Drums. And I'm going to kick this down to about 640 by 480. That'll keep it at, it doesn't have to be the highest, it'll be good. And it's going to go into my little library. And now I have a track for the drums. And then I have to do that with each individual track. And then we can load up onto Bandhug each individual track that we do into a new collab, and you'll have the BT if you want to use the same BT, and you'll have drums separate, you'll have the guitars, and you'll have the video on each and every one, the video and audio. Okay, I've created my new collab for the example, Bandhug unfinished collab example. And now I'm just going to go back. Okay, so now we can add our tracks, and we're going to do as a BT file, that way there's no label put on it. And I'm going to upload from my computer. I'm going to hit upload, and of course there's my tracks. So I'm going to start with the BT, hit open. And it's uploaded, and that's the backing track. And I'll do the same thing with all the tracks. Pause it when I come back. Okay, so I've uploaded all the tracks, including the two BVs that I put in there before. I don't know if they'll work, but now you got to do the adjusting, because in that Audacity file, everything's kind of raw. You need, the volumes aren't adjusted and so on. So, but you can do whatever you want with it at this point. To change it from a BT, I always do BT upload and change info later. And I'll change it to user, which is me, Dennis SKI. And now it'll show me as the user instead of a BT, and we can change it to whatever user we want to assign this to whatever user. Do the same thing on the next one down here, and we edit info, and we set it as user. Of course, we can change it to whatever user we want, and so on. And I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Support@bandhug.com. Thanks.